Welcome back to Arisha Really. It's your boy again, one more time today, still representing for the red, black, and green, with the yellow on there. You see it, red, black, you see the black on there, the black bees, Shout out to the guys and goddesses, you did. We in the building, you feel me? Today I want to build on a little bit. We're going to get more detail later, you know what I'm saying, in my builds on here. Hood psychology, bro. You feel me? A lot of times people from the hood, they judge, you know what I'm saying? And they judge out of content. You feel me? So I want to basically break down some math for the psychology, because psychology deal with everything when you're dealing with people, when you're dealing with environments, you dealing with, emotions and all this type of stuff, you feel me? And the things that's programming people, right? So there's certain things in the hood where when you seeing stuff, man, people just seeing the action and they ain't seeing the cause of the action, you feel me? So like when you growing up in environments that ain't teaching you about self and ain't teaching you about what's going on out here, you feel me, for real, in the makings of a person, man, it adds up, you know what I'm saying, to something that need to be addressed. But they always judging people based on, you know what I'm saying, the action, but they don't tell you the cause of the action, you know what I'm saying? They only telling you the reaction from the cause, and they judging you outside of that box. So why I'm saying hood psychology, because people ain't getting to the bottom of the issues that we having in our community. So let's give a little examples of why some of the breakdowns in our community happen the way they do. So you got a young guy, he just jumping off the porch, you feel me? So I explained this before, the first people that you learn from is the people in your household. Most people blame it on the parents, but then you go to television, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just rap. It's television in general, right? People try to put it all on rap, but it ain't just rap, you know what I'm saying? Because rap ain't the only thing influencing people out here. You get more out of the experience on how to act within the movie than you would in a rap. You see what I'm saying? Because the movie got music in it too. You know what I'm saying? The movie got action, you know what I'm saying? Excitement, you know what I'm saying? And just telling people how to move, you know what I'm saying? So, all these different things shape a guy. But once he go from the household to the TV to the to outside, you know what I'm saying? You begin to, he or she, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter who it is. You begin to pick up information from the environment. As a youngster, you don't need a certain amount of age. I'm gonna say from the day you born until like, I'm gonna say 8, right? You ain't discriminating. Well, not 8, you begin to discriminate a little bit, but I'm gonna say from like, 8, about 8, you ain't discriminating between the things that you like and the things you don't like. When you get 8, I think you're just not starting to formulate, you know what I'm saying, choices based on already programmed existence, right? So when you go out to the streets, this is what happens. This is what happens to a youngster. So like, they'll be like, oh, how you acting like this, and that? So when he go out to the streets, he see people on the block doing things. You see, she see, you know what I'm saying, things that's going on in the community. Those things begin to shape how you respond, because you have what's called quadrants that your mind flip through. You know what I'm saying, to tell you how to solve problems. We always learning and we always a sponge. Grown people do it just like kids, but it's worse for when you kids, because kids ain't discriminating between what's right and wrong. So by the time a person jump off the porch, he had these things already in his mind as to what is and what ain't, what's believable and what's not believable, what's possible and what's not possible. Now let's go into the hood part about it. So you got a youngster out here. I'm talking about the things that shape a guy conscience. You got a youngster out here, right? He can have good parents and everything, but each kid grow up in different households. Either when either when, well, yeah, different households or with different knowledge, either when you in the same household, you feel me? So, and it's all based on, let me put this phone over there, man, because I don't want to just keep on making that noise in the background. But anyway, so each one taking in information differently, you know what I'm saying? Because based on their makeup. So this is what happens. You got a person that's growing up in the hood. Any hood. I'm talking about a rich hood, poor hood, and all this type of stuff. So they see, they get to seeing what's going on. They get to watch TV, they hearing songs, they hearing all these different things about what's going on and what is, what ain't. So these things are shaping their reality. You feel me? So you would have, I'm going to the ghettos now, so you would have a youngster out there. Let's say he's the only child. So the youngster out there as an only child, his parents can't go out there on the block with him and be you know, out there on the block with him, giving him guidelines and helping him, and you know what I'm saying, solve problems out there. So he run with other kids. So what happens is this: parents gotta work. Your parents working and doing what parents do. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't got a job, they now out on the block with you. You feel me? So this is what happens. They bump into a guy, you know what I'm saying, an older guy, or it could be some youngsters, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, when we moving out here, everything based on truism and promises, you feel me? That's what life is based on, period. Truisms and promises. Truism is something, a promise is something that you could say, this can help you do blah, blah, split, this, and that. So they tell you go get a job. Bam. So the youngster go try to get a job. Some youngsters gonna be successful with getting a job. A lot of them ain't. You feel me? Because in the society that we live in, it ain't enough jobs, bro. Let's be all the way honest. It ain't enough jobs. People can say what the hell they want to say, but people in top tier, they know. In the capitalist system, you gotta have a throwaway people. So you telling this little youngster to go get a job. Granted, if he keep on doing it, he can find one. But he go do it 5, 6 times. It ain't working. Ain't nobody give him a job, you know what I'm saying? Bam, cool. So he go out there and he bump into a dude that's a trap. You know, he a trap dealer, you feel me? So he say, man, listen, man, come on over here. I can get you 30 off 100. But at the end of the day, you can have like $500, $600, Brody. You feel me? In your pocket. So he said, okay, I'm gonna take that. Even if he don't get $500, $600, so he leave with $200. You feel me? That day. What just happened? What just happened was this. The trapper just showed him that he made a promise, which was, hey, listen, if you come over here, you can get this. And he established a truism. A truism is something that you can live by. Bam. So he go in that mud. He get to trapping with him. You know what I'm saying? So now he trapping. He making that $200, $300, $400 a day. You feel me? Now this is something that I can live by. His other man say, hey, listen, man, I got this lick, man. We can go up in here, man, you know, come out with a couple bands or whatever, right? They go up in there. We like, we gonna split the money. Whether it's 2, 3 of them, we gonna split the money down the middle. They go up in there, even if, like I said, it might not be the whole thing. It might be more, it might be less. They come out with it. Whoop, they go another thing that you can live by based off of that promise. So a healthy mind, right? A healthy mind, you know what I'm saying? It's going to always weigh the options of what's better and what's worse. It ain't predicated on society norms. It's predicated on personal norms. Now, in society that we live in, money is everything. So they just got some money. So now they can dress fresher. They can eat when they want to eat, you know what I'm saying? Especially when we coming from the hood, you know, this poverty-stricken areas, you know what I'm saying, where people ain't got funds, you know what I'm saying? And youngsters gotta get it how they live. So they found a way to get some money. They found a way to look good, you know what I'm saying? Now the girls on them, because guess what happens? You know what I'm saying? Before they jumped off the porch, they already saw movies. The movies painted a picture hood movies and painting the picture of, you know, hey, listen, man, if you do this, commercials and all this type of stuff, if you this type of guy, you get the money, you know what I'm saying? You get the cars, you get the nice clothes, you get the honeys, you know what I'm saying? You can even get a house. So they like, yeah, I'm with that. That's what I want. You feel me? You a woman, she like, you gonna it's gonna attract all the guys, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna dress nice, you know what I'm saying? All the guys gonna want you. You can have the world. You feel me? So they like, okay, cool. Now they with that. Although a lot of that stuff ain't really, you know what I'm saying, the best of the best, but it's an avenue. You feel me? So what they did was, so now they get around people. You feel me? Now this is how you break the trust of the father figure or the mother figure. So they get around a person that they looking up to. So now you looking up to this guy, you know what I'm saying? Or she looking up to this woman. You feel me? So everything running good because they didn't show them a network. You feel me? The person that you looking up to, now that become the father figure or the mother figure. You know what I'm saying? Rather it's the person your age that's doing something that you ain't doing, you know what I'm saying, that you interested in, or they persuade you to be interested, because persuasion is everything. You feel me? So bam, they go and they get around that person. So what happens is this. That person protects them. You know what I'm saying? So now I got security. You know what I'm saying? I feel protected. You want to be in an environment, a healthy mind want to be in an environment where they feeling protected. You feel me? I got backup out here. You feel me? I got a team with me. We gonna eat together. Now, mind you, this not a fully developed mind. You feel me? So there you go again. Another act, another promise and truism that they can live by. Now, that person that they looked up to, or that person that they put their trust in, they go that father figure or that mother figure again, betrays them. The same way that they always talk about a woman when she first interact with have her first sexual encounter and her first love, or whatever the case may be, right? When that person break their heart, the next person don't get the full measure. It's the same thing with everybody. When you go out there and you put your trust to somebody and they coming through for you, and then next thing you know, they do something to betray you, that trust, you know what I'm saying, dies. So now when you're dealing with a youngster, that father figure or that leadership figure end up dying because of the betrayal. So now the next person that they coming to don't get, because they putting their all in this first one. The next person come along, they don't get that same all. You feel me? They don't get that same love. You feel me? So now it's broken. And then it happens again. So now it's like, I can't trust nobody out here no more. So now you got what I call on and off switches. So now that switch of that loyalty and that switch of that trust and then that remembrance of memory cause you to turn off the switch of loyalty, to turn off the switch of looking up to somebody, to turn on the switch of being more independent, rather it's right or wrong. You feel me? So now, guess what's happening? We don't trust nobody. I've been diagnosed with get down or lay down. So now it ain't no loyalty no more. It ain't no respect. It ain't no honor no more. So now that youngster out there, he knows based off of the truism and the promises that was shown to him that it ain't no love out here. So it's easy for me to create treason against somebody that's supposed to be my family, my team. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for me to turn them. That's where the concept of anybody can get it come from. You see what I'm saying? Anybody can get gat. Anybody can get unalived out here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, the blicky can spit at anybody now under my direction and aim. You feel me? So the psychology behind it now, this is in a psych now. It's a part of the way they move. This is what they believe to be true. This is their reality. It's a truism that they can live by. And it becomes a means of survival. And now the cleverness, the slickness, the conning, and all that type of stuff, it gets them what they want. So now they trapped in this little box of can't see outside of what's been going on. Same thing. They meet the little female, you know what I'm saying, as a male, you know what I'm saying, or a female, she meet the guy, you know what I'm saying. They ended up, you know what I'm saying, one of them betrayed the other. You know what I'm saying? So guess what happened? The off switch come on. I got to turn off my emotions when I'm out here dealing with these people, because these people betray me. So now the trust factor gone. The loyalty factor gone. The commitment factor gone. It's play. You feel me? So now I'm just going to get what I can get out of you, and I'm on to the next one because I ain't about to be the one getting hurt again. You feel me? Lafayette, bro, I see you, baby. You feel me? So the thing be, not a psychology all twisted behind that, because in their mental, they know that ain't nobody got love for me. So in order for me to survive out here, I can't have love for nobody. So now when it comes to the biological parents trying to step in and do stuff and correct, they don't see that as a form of trying to help. They see that as a form of disrespect, and they see that as a form of war, betrayal, because the people that they put their trust in betrayed them first. You feel me? So now they like, I don't care if you mom, pops, uncle, and all that type of stuff. They don't have no problem with violating you, creating treason against the bond that y'all have. You know what I'm saying? Correction and all this type of stuff begin to look like offense. So now I'm warned against education. I'm warned against, you know what I'm saying? And I'm real sensitive to somebody cutting it to me, telling me I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because now wrong look like you about to get down on me. You know what I'm saying? But people ain't addressing these things. When then you find out all these things going on, now I feel like everybody is trying to hurt me. That's where you get, that's why I like what Pac said, the name of the album, Me Against the World. You get that. It's me against the world. Now the beautiful people out here get cut because, and they get the ones that's really with people, they don't get the same love. So now it's like this. Everybody is a lick. Anybody that look like they trying to help me, you know what I'm saying, and is actually helping me, I feel like I'm getting down on. So I can cut it to the dude and be like, hey, bro, let me get this, and that. He give it to me. Oh, yeah, he a lame. I got down on him. Because everybody, in the beginning, everybody got down on this youngster. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got down on this youngster. So now they feel like they got to get down. It's get down or lay down. So now these fight or flight mechanisms is in there. I'm going to run from the things that I think is greater than me. You know what I'm saying? And I think because it's greater than me, it's a threat. If it opposes my views, it's a threat. Because when I had a view and I was dealing with the initial person that I was dealing with, you know what I'm saying? And I was expressing my views, he became a threat to me. He or she became a threat to me and physically hurt me or mentally hurt me. So now the psyche is messed up. It's unbalanced. This is what we going through in the hood. This is why it's easy for a youngster to say the upper blicky on his father. Just come and say, hey, listen, man, you ain't about to be out here doing that. The father showed aggression and trying to be stern. The youngster see aggression as a challenge or as a threat. So the youngster meets the threat with threat, even though it might not be a threat, because people judge everything according to their degrees and measure and understanding. You see what I'm saying? So now you can't get to him unless you learn his language. You have to learn what words is a button for them to turn on that switch, like defense mode and war mode, because that's distorted in them now. You feel me? The means of survival. You know what I'm saying? The means of getting money. They only know this gutter way. You see what I'm saying? So now, when you chipping at that, you have to be real. You have to understand the real psychology behind what's going on out there. Otherwise, you're going to lose them every time, or you will get lost. And I mean really lost. Nobody can find you. Ain't coming back from it because you didn't address something that have wound. They say a wounded animal attack a person that's trying to help them. Hurt people. That's real. That's real science. You see what I'm saying? So when we gotta stop, especially if you out here trying to help the people and you trying to help these youngsters, because grown people going through it too. They get the same psychological trauma. Where you think the youngsters get it from? Watching the older guys, seeing it, and being around them. And so now when you got hurt people out here and they demonstrating hurt, this becomes a science. It's an art to it. See what I'm saying? Those that make it in them concrete jungles, they made it because they understood the science behind it, the psychology behind it. But now they twist it because of it. I heard a person, I was watching CBS one day, and they was talking about should old people be in government. That was around in the 60s and 70s and farther back into history. You know what I'm saying? And one of the ladies made a valid point. She said, I feel like people that's in their 60s, 70s and all that type of stuff, man, have been back through all that type of time, shouldn't be in government making decisions because it's too much trauma behind that. You feel me? So now, you know, and they ain't never addressed their trauma. So therefore, they making rulings based on biased decisions about people and where they come from. They creating curriculums and don't even understand the psychology behind what's going on out here. So now it takes somebody that come from that way to sit down and understand the psyche behind this stuff, man. If you lived it, you can get to the heart of the matter quicker than the person that ain't lived it. You see what I'm saying? So when you elevating to a higher level of consciousness, you got to remember the old level of consciousness that got you through that mess and that had you in that mess. Because if you don't understand the psychology behind what's going on, then you won't do nothing to fix the problem because you can't even address the root. This is where people going wrong at. You see what I'm saying? And this is why you don't get youngsters to stop doing stuff to create imbalance out here, because you don't even address the trauma. You don't even address the psychology behind it. You just judging. And half of a person is judging and done or been through the same thing. But they tend to act like they don't want to look back and address their own trauma. Because although you call yourself making change, you still using cleverness. You still using you conning people. You still using the slick ways for the old you to try to establish the new you. You still feeling like when a person got a different view, they challenging you and they a threat. And that they mean harm. You see what I'm saying? When the person pointing out your flaws, why? Because of that trauma ain't been addressed. So if you got it in you and the youngster got it in them, and then all y'all saying that the youngster saying these old heads, they think they know everything, and they always trying to come in here checking the guy. The older guy saying the youngsters don't know nothing and they don't listen. Two parties trying to break bread with each other and can't get through to each other because they don't understand the psychology behind what went wrong. Now, this junk get deeper than just what I just said, but I just laid the premises and the blueprint for the root of having real conversations about what's going on. So, for example, we can't keep going off of governmental information no more, man. The information don't work for you if you trying to break patterns. It works for them because they like the patterns, because they benefit from it. Sending a person to jail, it's a part of their system. They benefit from it. They making money off of it, bro. It's a conflict of interest to keep people out of jail when you working in that type of system. You know what I'm saying? It's job security when they seeing people go to jail. So I'm going to make it seem like if I'm a governmental official or I'm a, you know what I'm saying, police officer, judge, prosecutors, and even lawyers, you know what I'm saying? If there's no criminals, I don't got no job. You see what I'm saying? So they ain't trying to address the matter. You feel me? They ain't trying to address psychology. They coming up with pseudo psychology, bro. Pseudo, that means fake psychology, bro. Trickery, trick knowledge in order to make you think that they want to help you. But they help is sending you and feeding the system that they running. It ain't no real resources in prison. People don't become, you know what I'm saying? The average person in prison, man, I'm going to say out of 10, 2 people get information that can help them be better. You see what I'm saying? 2 people out of 10 people, that's not a lot of, that percentage ain't high. You feel me? You still got, you know, that's like 20% out of 100. You still got 80% that ain't got it. You see what I'm saying? So we need to start addressing a system that addresses the psychology to touch more people. Because people coming in there with this pseudo knowledge that's being passed down from these educators and all that type of stuff that's already in a system that benefit from people being dumb and committing crime, man. And if you really want to help, bro, I'm telling y'all that we got to address the psychology. If you been that way, if you from that way, if you away, baby, I'm telling you, you need to remember when you was doing it. What motivated you to do what you did? Because what motivated you to do what you did, it's the same thing that's motivating them. And it's probably a little different because different technology, but it's the same thing because we all human. You feel me? A lot of people look back and they say, oh, they worse than me. They worse than this and that. That ain't the fact that they worse than you. They demonstrating what you demonstrated. Because if you look at it, the pattern, all the old heads say the same thing. When I was young, oh, y'all messing up. We was this, we was that. They fantasize and they past, bro. You know what I'm saying? They glorifying they past, you know what I'm saying, and fantasizing like it was something better than what these youngsters doing. But it wasn't better. Some of y'all was worse. Some of these generations was worse. I can tell you right now, you know what I'm saying? And I was the youngster looking up. And all the violence that happened in the 90s and 80s and early 2000s, it was more violence then. That's a fact people don't want to address. It was more violence then, bro. You feel me? When the crack epidemic first hit, it was more violence happening then, more unaliving people then. You know what I'm saying? More up and blickies on people then than it is now. And if you really want to be truthful, it's more people right now on the youngster tip that's invested in their dreams, even though they got distortion, even though they got all these different things coming in, bro. But we got to address this matters, man, from a standpoint of the psychology behind it. And we got to start looking at stuff from a real perspective. Like if you got two squads and they out here up in blickies on each other and causing people, the transformation of different people to be elevated to the realm of the ancestors, you know what I'm saying? And in confused states crossing over like that, you know what I'm saying? We got to understand that a lot of them blicking, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that that's going on, the blams that's going on out here, it ain't just senseless like people saying it is. Now, it might be senseless as the way in which it started. You know what I'm saying? How the drama start. You know what I'm saying? How the conflict and the banging with each other start. But once the war begins, you feel me? When people get to responding to each other in an uncivilized way, it's really self-defense, man. Because if somebody trying to unalive me and I respond by unaliving them, how is that not self-defense? You see what I'm saying? So we got to start addressing this stuff because it's more rules. It's rules to this stuff, right? And when you understand the rules of engagement, you better ever just address the problem, man, and work the system. And that's the first thing. That's the first art of war, understanding the rules of engagement. You know what I'm saying? And when we're talking about addressing the problems out here and trying to fix them, we got to address the psychology behind why people doing what they doing, man. It makes sense when you understand it. Because guess what? It's a philosophy to everything. You feel me? A person can make anything sound good, and they had a philosophy and an understanding of why they doing what they do. It's just up to you to sit down and understand the psychology behind why they do what they do. And if they doing something to cause imbalance out here, then guess what? When you address the psychology of it, you can get to the heart of it. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying when these youngsters out here moving and doing what they doing, man, it's a psyche behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's some images in there. It's some emotions in there. It's some beliefs in there. It's some imagination in there. You know what I'm saying? It's all type of things. It's some projections. It's some stuff that they throwing out there. It's some stuff that they drawing back to them. You know what I'm saying? And it's some wisdom behind it too. You feel me? But you ain't gonna address that unless you address those things, those topics. It's more, but you gotta address those topics. What's the imagination behind it? And I ain't talking about the imagination that has some fantasy type stuff. What's the blueprint? How are they drawing up this blueprint in their mind? That's the imagination. What is their concentration on? That's their womb. That's where they sit up there and nurturing it. And then what is the emotion that they putting behind it? That's the energy behind it. You feel what I'm saying? Now you get into the heart of this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now you get into the whys and the roots of this stuff. Now you can uproot the problem if you better ever to address the situation. But you ain't gonna never touch a little sister or a little brother out there, a young god and a young goddess out there, if you can't understand the system in which they playing in and the psychology behind it. These people out here that's pushing this government stuff and this old curriculums, if it was working, we would have been had change. If jail worked, it wouldn't be no crime. And they had jail for a long time, homie. You feel me? It's the school system was really working, we wouldn't have people having to commit no crime. If it was enough jobs You wouldn't have to worry about people not having a job and going about it in other ways, the trap way, the stick-up way. You feel me? Because it'll be so much of abundance of opportunity out here that who needs that? And I ain't talking about making no money just to get by. I'm talking about making money to live comfortably, to get everything that you want and a lot of the things that you need. I mean, get everything that you need and a lot of the things that you want, or at least some of the things that you want, but everything that you need. You see what I'm saying? It ain't out here. And people acting like it is because they going off of a system and they being told stuff and they hearing their way through life and not seeing their way through life. So I'm saying if we trying to address the real matters out here, we really need to dig into that, the root of it. You feel me? Because coming from where we come from, it's been traps set up by people that understand how to control the minds, emotions, feelings, and actions, and belief systems, and how to entertain their womb, their concentration faculty, so they can hold these thoughts and nurture these thoughts with their imagination and add these emotions behind it to make people act on it. You feel me? To rationalize, to give them rationalization that justify what they doing. You see what I'm saying? Because everything out here is learned behavior. Whether they got it from in the house, outside, on TV, you know what I'm saying, and all that type of stuff, man, it's a root to it. But the system is in motion. And it's one thing that they said in the winning list letter that's accurate. Once we begin to put this system in place, it will begin to spin on its own axis until we get a phenomenon to come along and try to reverse it. You feel me? So I'm saying, man, let's become that phenomenon that's going to reverse this impact that's happening to our youth, that's happening to our elders, and that's happening to us because we all got a piece of that influence that's causing disharmony in our life that we need to address the root of. So I'm saying, let's get into this hood psychology. Give me your feedback on it, man. It's your boy, man, the Rich O'Reilly. One love, many lives, one nation, one struggle. I see you, cuz. I see you, bro. We out here, man, and I end this as I always do, man. Peace to the guys and goddesses. One love.